one take, one shot. This is the Raw review in which I do it all in one take, one shot, no edits. So that means if Goldberg himself walks through that door, I'm just going to show him a locker. He'll hit his head against it, fall down, and I'll continue the review because that's what Goldberg does. All right, so, oh man, Goldberg appeared. He ruined what was gonna be a great episode of Raw. I know. I'm just gonna warn you, if you are huge Goldberg fans, you might not want to watch this episode because I don't know if you know this about Chop. I'm not the biggest Goldberg fan out there, and he returned. Let's just move on for now. Let's talk the main event, because that main event, it was a banger. We'll talk the entire show, but I want to talk the main event because that was an all-time ending. Holy cow, Triple H. He must have heard our cries about him just phoning in these shows because we got 2 Raws now, 2 very good Raws in a row, plus an excellent SmackDown last week. Not joking, I've been pretty critical of Raw and SmackDown up until last week when it started getting good again. And man, I am loving it, with the exception of Goldberg returning, that is. But you know what? We can't always get everything we want. And yeah, this main event, people were comparing it in the live chat to WrestleMania 40, where it was like Avengers Assemble, and we got it was already 4 people, 4 big dudes, well, 3 big dudes and Jey Uso. I'm not saying Jey Uso's not a big dude, but when you compare it to Sheamus, Bronson Reed, and Rusev, well, Jey's not the biggest in the fight, but you know what? His heart is. And they were going at it, right? They were going at it, and then, you know, it was just like power move after power move after power move. It was definitely a good match. But then, out of nowhere, Braun Breaker appears, right? Braun Breaker appears, and then we have Sami Zayn appears. Braun Breaker interferes. Sami Zayn then comes to help Jey Uso because Braun interfered on behalf of Bronson Reed. Breaker, he stops like a pin or something, but then Sami Zayn comes out, and as Sami's going to do the haluva kick, Braun Breaker just grabs him by the throat. That was pretty cool. And then what do we got? Then Penta out of nowhere. Penta seemed a little out of place. I was like, wait, why is Penta involved in here? I get it. They did attack Penta during the Money in the Bank part of that feud, but it seemed like, I don't know, Penta, it was kind of a sore thumb here, but regardless, it was still a cool spot. So Penta comes out of nowhere, and then what do we have? Then Bronson Reed, he's about to do a tsunami on Jey Uso, but then LA Knight, comes out. And then that allows Jey Uso to get the pin after 2 Uso splashes. And Jey Uso, he's just won, and he's like, okay, he's about to get up, but then burn it down. Here comes Seth Rollins. It's like, holy cow, it was just one guy after another. And people were definitely comparing it to WrestleMania 40, but I thought it was kind of like, there was 2 times where I thought it was like back in the Attitude Era, where Stone Cold Steve Austin beelined it down the aisle and took care of everybody. Once during the Go Home show to the Invasion, and I think the other was the Go Home show to the Hell in the Cell 6-pack challenge, where everybody's just in the ring. It's crazy, it's chaotic, move after move after move, and then just one hero comes down and beats the crap out of everyone. And that's what it kind of seemed like here. So Seth Rollins is coming down, and it's like Jey Uso. I was like, oh god, I'm about to get beat up. But then Cody Rhodes music hits. It's like, what? Everybody was here. Now this was just a stare down, so it wasn't as epic as the Stone Cold Steve Austin fighting everybody off. Maybe we could have done that, but I don't know. I felt like this was really cool also. Cody Rhodes, he comes in, he stands up, and he just eyeballs Seth, and they're like, there's this moment, are they going to fight, are they not? And Seth just kind of walks away. Now, I feel I feel that made Seth a little weak in that he still had Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker flanking him, and it was just Jay and Cody in the ring. What they should have done is they could have had LA Knight get in there, at least LA Knight, to make it 3-on-3. Plus, LA Knight seems to be feuding with them anyways, so LA Knight should have been shoulder to shoulder with some main event talent. But why not also bring in Penta, bring in Sheamus? They're all 5 faces. I get why Rusev wouldn't want to help them out, but we could have had, then it could have been, what did I say? 5, that's 5 versus 3, and Seth could have easily said, nah, you're not worth it. But he kind of backed down from 2 people. So that gives a little bit of a damper on it. So while not a perfect ending, it was like, just that was a minute detail that could have made it even better. But that said, it was a solid match. And everybody got an offense. Everybody looked good. I think Rusev looked really good. I think Sheamus looked really good. We knew they weren't going to win, and yet they got a good, prominent spot in the main event, a good, decent paycheck. I liked it. Jey Uso won, kind of predictable, kind of not. The only reason why I thought maybe they would let Jey lose was because then we could have face versus heel, Cody versus Bronson Reed in the semifinals. I'm surprised they're putting literally their 2 top baby faces against each other. The only other baby face that even compares to those 2 would be CM Punk. So, like, I guess maybe LA Knight as well. But yeah, Cody and Jey Uso literally are two of your top baby faces. And there's a story there because they do have a long friendship. Heck, they just teamed up at King of the Ring. So, like, very interesting though. Like, I'm impressed. I'm more impressed than not that they're actually giving us that match on free TV nonetheless. So, like, I don't know how that's going to look. And it's crazy because now we could have a potential of Cody versus Randy Orton in Saudi Arabia, Jay versus Sami Zayn in Saudi Arabia, or even Cody versus Sami in Saudi Arabia, because then the crowd would be split because Sami is such a favorite there. So yeah, like a lot of potential, a lot of interesting dynamics. Surprise, no heels either. No heels in the semifinals of King of the Ring. That's kind of crazy too. And what is Seth Rollins doing? Does Seth want this belt? Because Gunther literally called him out earlier, and last week Seth was teasing the undisputed title with his Money in the Bank, and the fact that Cody and Seth are kind of squaring up with one another means that, is he going after the undisputed belt and not this belt right here? Because that's kind of crazy. I thought that Seth would want this belt, but hey, you know what? If Seth doesn't want it, maybe you want it. And if you want to win this belt right here, all you got to do is comment below. You got to subscribe to the channel also and hit that bell, ding ding ding, notification. I'm giving this belt away at 20,000 subscribers. I'm at like 17,105, not that I'm counting, and so, like, I'm almost there. You can win this belt, give it away, free shipping, free everything. Please like the video. The thumb likes when you like the video. Yes, I love it, actually. Not just like, I love it. So please help the thumb and like the video. All right, so we had a banger of a main event and even a banger of a sequence of events. I wish I could talk more about, like, how cool that match was, but there was just so much going on. There was like 20 beats of the Bari, whatever it is, that Sheamus does outside the ring to Bronson Reed. I think he had 15 of them. We had spears. We had Rusev going crazy. They catch Jey Uso in a crossbody off the top rope. Just a lot of stuff happening, but just too much. Too much to really call it on a one-take, one-shot video, so just go watch it. The main thing was, it was just the sequence of events that led towards the finish, where it was just person after person after person. Love that LA Knight is in that mix. Same with Penta, but it was kind of weird that Penta was there, in all honesty, but other people probably won't think it's weird. I don't know, I just feel like Penta's moved on. You know, the Money in the Bank portion of his revenge doesn't seem like he's gonna be in a program with Seth, so why was he there? But you know what? Hey, you know what? Why not? Why not be mad? Stay mad, Penta. Get in that main event when you can. All right, so now let's now that we tackled the main event, let's go start at the beginning. We have Liv Morgan coming out with Dominic Mysterio. They're holding hands, and Dom's getting boos. Dom is getting boos again. It's like we all forgot about the cheers that we were giving him, or at least Green Bay did. He tries to talk a couple times. Now, the boos weren't as loud as they once were, but they were there, and they got louder as each time he tried to talk. So Dom is getting booed. We'll see how that translates to other areas, other parts of the country. Liv starts smack talking how Nikki Bella, like she's nothing, how she's the real star. Io needs to give her the title. Io comes out. Io says, I will give you the title, throws the title, and then just like kind of drop kicks her. I will say Io has not defended her title since WrestleMania, and that's kind of like, I don't know, like, could you imagine if Cody Rhodes, like last year, if he had won the title from Roman Reigns and then he didn't defend it at all? For 51 to 50 to 60 days, we would be crying bloody murder. He did defend it, and we still cried bloody murder. So it's like, why aren't we giving Io Sky matches? She's a workhorse too. It's not like she needs the time off. She's like the only person better in the ring than her is like what, Chad Gable, Grande Americano. Those two are the only ones better than Io Sky. So it's like, give her some matches, please. And so, but hopefully we get a program there. Io then also kicks Dominic out, which I hadn't seen in a while, where Dominic was just kind of on the loser end of the beatdown of everybody, kind of the scapegoat. And so, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Do we get the Dominic Mysterio that's been on the rise, or are we going back to sidekick Dom with the belt? We do have some commercial breaks. I counted 11 commercials. I'm not gonna lie though, this was a very emotional roller coaster for me of a Raw episode. So there's a chance that I miscounted. So I'm gonna say there was 11 commercials, give or take 2. I probably wouldn't take it. It's probably anywhere from 11 to 13 commercials. I'm like confident it's 11, but like probably 12. I'll probably say 12. I'm throwing 13 in just in case because it's still WWE. I love their storytelling, but they still want that. Give me the money. Here we go. Ching ching, holla holla, dollar dollar. All right, that's Shane McMahon's his theme song, by the way. All right, so then we have Stephanie Vakir, or as Nikki Bella will say, Vakwe. Ivy Nile. I love Ivy Nile, but she's always put in the position to lose. Raquel Rodriguez, she did a bang-up job in this match. And Asuka returning after 13 months. In fact, she was her last match was a King of the Ring, Queen of the Ring qualifier where she was injured. So kind of like poetic that she has come back for Queen of the Ring, and she does advance in a decent match. This was a decent match. I could tell that she was a little gassed towards the end, but not to the point that it was like, I don't remember her ever breathing that heavy, but I don't think that it really affected anything either. I will say, though, that like if I walk up two flights of stairs, I'm gassed, so I don't really have much room to talk. But 13 months out of the ring, yeah, you're training, but until you're actually in the ring with opponents on live TV with the audience just screaming, you don't, it's not the same. So Asuka did a very good performance based on the fact that this was her first match back. I will say the person I'm most impressed with was Raquel Rodriguez. She continues to impress me. She did the big man moves so freaking good. There was one time when Stephanie Vakwe was about to do the devil kiss to her, but she just grabbed her and kind of just stood up. And then they fell out of the ring, and she just wouldn't let go. Like, she was doing some really good moves. There was like people on her shoulders. I think she had 2 people on her shoulders once, where Stephanie or Raquel, or Stephanie or Raquel, Stephanie or Asuka did like a doomsday device kind of sort of on her, and she literally kicked someone in the face as she was holding on to someone. Raquel Rodriguez, like, I think she's found her spot. And it's a spot that I don't think anybody else has in the women's division. That Kevin Nash bodyguard, just big moves, big move wrestler. And she should definitely just lean into that, because she impressed me greatly. Ivy Niles always going to be good, and I think she's in a role where it's like she's going to be called in to make the others look good. So kind of she's almost like going to be a Dolph Ziggler without the wins. So like, who would she be then? She's probably going to be who could she be? A Zack Ryder, maybe? Not Zack Ryder. Zack Ryder's too goofy. I don't know. She's going to be a person that makes everybody looks good but never wins, which, you know, that sucks. I do, like, there's something about Ivy now that I really like her. And I don't know why. Sometimes you just like someone for no real good reason, because she hasn't really talked that much on the mic, but the little time she did backstage with American Made, I kind of was like, yeah, I could totally see myself putting the full support of the channel behind her. I just wish they would give her that storyline. She just needs that one storyline to break her out. All right, so that match, Asuka wins. I thought it would be Stephanie, but now Asuka wins, and if Asuka can run all the way to Queen of the Ring and get the crown, well, now we got Asuka versus Io at SummerSlam. I don't think we needed the Queen's crown in order to get there. I think that could have easily been a feud that happened without the Queen of the Ring. So, I don't know, whatever. Asuka would definitely be deserving, that's for sure. And then we go to, I did forget to say this. Rhea actually came out. Raquel was going to win, and Rhea actually pulled her out. So does that mean we're about to get Rhea versus Raquel? That's an interesting feud, because that means that Raquel's about to completely glow up, because Rhea's a big freaking deal. And for Rhea to actually go after Raquel, and not necessarily because she's just friends with Liv, that's pretty huge for Raquel. So let's see where that goes. And what else we got? Then we had a Gunther package from last week. Gunther beating Jey Uso. They show a bunch of kids being sad. Liv Morgan is in the back, and she's kind of upset. She's like, I got a fight with Kairi Sane earlier. Come on, Raquel. And Raquel's like, I don't know. I can't really help. And she gets mad at Raquel. Finn is going to go out with JD. JD's has a match with AJ Styles. Dominic starts calling shots. He's like, I don't think you should. You lost last week. And Finn's about to get mad, but then he said, no, you're right. And then he goes to, Liv has already left. JD leaves with Dom, and then Finn says to Roxanne Perez, who's also back there, come on, let's go out there. So I just love that Finn is just this like bitter guy, just conniving and destroying Judgment Day from within. Unfortunately, Carlito his contract is up with the WWE. I was really, really hoping we could have some kind of closure there. I think that's a very, very missed opportunity to not have closure with Carlito in the Judgment Day. In fact, it makes me scared of future storylines getting invested, because, I don't know. He had 2 weeks left of his contract. I bet if they called him right now, Carlito would film some kind of promo. And I don't know. I don't understand why they didn't do that. So now we get to the worst part of the show, maybe the worst part of 2025, maybe the worst thing that has happened since the dog food on Roman Reigns. We have Gunther comes out. He starts like, at first he's like, yeah, I heard the rumors. Goldberg's not coming because the crowd is chanting Goldberg. And then, oh man, I'm sorry. I'm just like, this is like, man, I wish they would have brought him back. They bring back Goldberg. Gunther is like saying stuff like, oh, Seth Rollins, come at me. And then Goldberg comes out. It's like, oh, Goldberg comes out. I don't even want to talk about this. I gotta. Okay, come on. Let's get through this. Let's just get through this. Goldberg, he comes out. He does this stupid thing where he's like, "Oh, I'm mad. You're next," and that's pretty much it. Oh man. I'm gonna do a video on Wednesday. I'm gonna do a video on Wednesday about Goldberg and a video on Wednesday about Goldberg and how he when he appears, he ruins everything. Think about this. This is what the video is going to be about. About how he ruined Kevin Owens' title reign, how he ruined The Fiend's title reign, and now how he's ruined Jey Uso's title reign, and potentially Gunther, his aura and everything. And I know there's a lot of people who love Goldberg and stuff, but I don't. So, like, if you're just totally in love with Goldberg and you want to, if you would just want to give him hugs and stuff and just rub that head of his, you might not want to watch. Like, when I start talking Goldberg, you might want to just mute the videos. Like, keep playing them because they help the algorithm, but, I'll tell you what, I've hated Goldberg since before there was the internet. People are going to be like, "Oh, well, do you think the internet's going to crash? Or I want Goldberg to win so the IWC gets mad." I've hated him before the IWC existed. Well, I guess not. Google existed in 92 and Goldberg existed in 96. Well, when there was AOL chat rooms, all right? That's how long me and Goldberg's feud has been going on. Let's just move on. We're gonna have Goldberg versus Gunther at Saturday night's main event because Goldberg made fun of him like a year ago or something, and Goldberg, woohoo! We get to see a 60-year-old dude. Oh, let the guy retire. Why don't we let Carlito retire? Huh? Let's have Carlito have a retirement match or something like that. I'd rather Carlito have his last match or a last segment than Goldberg, who. All right, so moving on, we got AJ Styles versus JD. This was it was like a good match, but it was kind of like a nothing match. There was like no stakes involved. Dom was there, and AJ would chase him around every once in a while, but it just didn't. I don't know. It was just I was still. Cards on the table. I was still very upset about Goldberg appearing, so I didn't pay that much attention to this match. It was fine. It was a good match, but I don't got much to say on it. We had some commercials. At the end, AJ had the belt. He walked away with the belt, and they're like, "Hey, man, that's my belt." We go to, and he tags Dominic Mysterio as well. Finn comes out. Finn does help Dom, and we go from there. So Finn's weird. He helps Dom. He helps everybody out, but you can tell he's still, conniving. And then I'm really sorry. I can't, I try, I'm this. This is who I am. And, Goldberg, I just have some strong feelings about that guy. And if we, I'll tell my story. I'll tell my Goldberg story one day. Maybe, what do I have to do? Maybe 50,000? If someone asks me at 50,000, 100,000 subscribers, I tell the Goldberg story. It's not even that good of a story. Any story revolving with Goldberg in it's not that good of a story. I don't know. How many views, how many subscribers do I need to tell the Goldberg story, the full Goldberg story? It's not even that good of a story. Like I said, don't build it up in your head. Moving on. Just know that if you love Goldberg, that you're gonna have to. You might have to put up with me, saying a couple not so nice things about him. Not that he deserves any nice things to say about him. Where was I? So Bayley comes out. Bayley comes out, and she walks out. We see New Day talking to A-Town Down Under, but we don't get to see that. Bayley comes out. She did a pretty good promo about how she's how I don't know what it was. It was a babyface promo. She did a really good promo about how she loves the business, loves the fans. And then Becky Lynch comes out, right? Becky Lynch comes out, and it's like cool. Like here I got two of the horsewomen, and they're going at it. Boom, boom, boom. Bayley did a good promo against Becky, but Becky always was like 2 steps ahead of her, and Bayley would say something where I'm like, yeah, you got her, and then Becky would instantly, like, boom, got you better. Like Becky was like, or Bayley was like, you know what? I can bring people with me. I'm not so insecure. And then Becky will be like, yo, I would bring people with me too, but everybody turned on me. So like, I'm just whatever. And Becky says, or Bayley says, remember what it was like to chase a WrestleMania match, to be hungry? And Becky was like, no, I'm so good. I don't need to remember that. Do you remember what it's like to hold gold? So yeah, Becky definitely looked better out of this exchange, but Bayley held her own. Bayley definitely held her own, and they challenged. Becky said Becky was like, I'll fight you, but not here, and not for the title. But later, Nick Aldis does make it a title match. Bayley goes to Nick and makes it a title match, and we also then we go then from Bayley to Lyra, and Lyra's like, all right, you do you. And Bayley's like, sorry I didn't call back, but it was a tough time. Fine, whatever, but you win that title, I'm coming for it. So we'll see what happens there, because now that match is next week. Intercontinental match between Bayley and Becky. That's a huge match for the Intercontinental title. And also Nick Aldis said that AJ can have a match at Night of Champions for the Intercontinental title against Dominic Mysterio. AJ gave the belt back too. So there you go. And then the worst part of the night, there was a real life injury with Liv Morgan and Kairi Sane and her. Like I looked at they showed replays. It wasn't anything crazy. Like a couple weeks ago, Zoe Starks did a missile drop kick against Kairi Sane, and see, that's a crazy move. And Zoe got injured. And you could be like, well, whose fault was it? You know, stuff happens regardless, right? So some people in the chat, and I got really upset about it, some people in the chat were like, oh, Kyrie, it's like, no, dude, it's like, stuff happens, and this was just a simple move. It just goes to show that these wrestlers put their lives and bodies on the line, and even when it's not just these car crash ladder matches and steel cage matches, it's like, just whatever they do, any little move, this was like a almost, like she just kind of tossed her over her hip, and Liv has dislocated her shoulder. That's insane to me. Honestly, I might do a video on this one day, but I kind of think it's more TKO's fault than anyone, in that TKO is taking away all these house shows, right, to save money, but now the wrestlers can't ever practice. They can't practice, they can't do this, they can't do that, or they can practice less, all right? Yeah, I get it. The ring is set up early in the day, but they don't get to practice as much as you could with the house show, and there's botches everywhere. There's botches left and right, and I'm like, geez Louise, we need to do something. Just because you're not making $1 million or you can't sell a Slim Jim table at a house show doesn't mean we shouldn't have these house shows, because it allows the people to practice. And now Liv Morgan is out, and she's a centerpiece of a ton of things right now in the women's division. I really hope that, like, a lot of people are like, oh, you know, it's just a shoulder dislocated. That's whatever. And yeah, maybe it is whatever, but you never know. You never know until like 2 or 3 days from now, it could be something worse, or maybe this is the beginning of something worse. I don't know. I don't want anyone to be injured, and I really hope that Liv Morgan is recovered, gets to recover real quick from this. So thoughts to Liv. You are a rock star. You really are the center of the women's division, and I hope that you continue to be for many years to come. So I hope that you are all right. Then we have, please don't like just badmouth Kairi saying crap happens. Then we go to a Sami Zayn promo. He's backstage and Karrion Kross comes up to him and Sami finally gets mad. He's like, dude, you're a coward. You've been hiding it in the back. And like, when was the last time you had a match? And that was right before WrestleMania. If we're talking main Raw or SmackDown. And he's like, after King of the Ring, you and me, let's go. Hopefully this leads to a Karrion Kross match at SummerSlam. I'm really hoping that Karrion Kross gets on TV more, gets some in-ring time. Please, please, please. Let's do that. Let's have Karrion Kross have a SummerSlam match. I would love that. Love that. Who knows? Maybe he interferes next week on SmackDown, and that allows Randy Orton to win. And after that, we go to that big match that we talked about in the beginning. That's it. That's your one take, one shot Raw review. Please let me know in the comments below if you liked it. I'm going to do hot takes tomorrow, and then my goal is to do the Goldberg video of the last couple of years. Not the origin story of why I feel the way I do about Goldberg, but like maybe you'll get a piece of the puzzle. Boys, girls, have yourselves a great day, night, whatever it is. I want you to have a good one of those. Bye.